Check 1 2. Check. Check 1 2. Check. Well, all right, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. So today we're going to be going over some of the progress of Legacy of the One. I know it's been a big anticipated project for quite a while. A lot of people have been waiting on it, so on and so forth. So we're just going to jump right into it, I guess. So, Legacy of the One Part 2. I will be honest, it doesn't really have a whole lot of progress done on it. It is almost fully written and all that, and we're good on the writing. But I will say this project. Okay, so whenever I made the Legacy of the 18, I had all 4 parts done before I started releasing stuff, and it took months and months of doing that. So on this project, I spent a few months working on part 1 and then started working on part 2. Now, the thing about this is, now that I have a bigger audience, which is great now, they're all waiting for me to make some more content and whatnot, which I love. That's great. But so I have this 40-minute or however long part 1 was, I think it was like 37 minutes or whatever, just sitting on my laptop or computer getting ready to be sent out to the public. And I'm like, well, you don't want to wait because, but I kind of bit the bullet a little bit and put that out without even starting on part 2 yet, which that's on me. So this video is going to take quite a bit longer than, obviously, it didn't come out the week after part 1 like Legacy of the 18 did. So this one I'm expecting to get done by March. Intro so far we have most of the intro. There's going to be some stuff that need to be changed. It has been revised once or twice now, actually. So whenever I first made it, we had like different music in here. I didn't like it that much because it wasn't portraying the tone right that I wanted. Because of originally we had an accordion version of Rush G, like right here, and I'm like, oh, that'll be kind of cool because it's kind of poking fun at how DEI's downfall. And then I got done with this whole intro and I'm like, I don't really like that. So I went back, added some Forza 4 music. You can see it right there. I always like some Forza OST, especially one from 4. It's not particularly great for the game it's in, but for video essays, it's great. This Burnout Muscle theme. This is from Need for Speed Carbon 2006. You'll hear that here in a bit. And we got the intro here, and we got all this dialogue here. It goes all the way to about 3 minutes, and that's where it's talking about Ganassi. And then we come back here. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. I thought part 1 was going to be like an hour long. It ended up being about 20 minutes short of that. It may be about the same amount of time. I'm not going to say how long it's going to be because I always overshoot because it feels like forever as much as I'm editing. But so Glenn, why is this taking so long compared to so why is this taking so long compared to Legacy of the 18? Well, I will say this. I have new software, obviously. I'm using CapCut. I know it's not the best program I can use because a lot of people use that for TikTok and whatnot, but gosh, I don't want to make TikTok content. I don't want my content to feel like TikTok content, and I believe it's far from that, actually. But it's a great program. So anyways, what I was using for Legacy of the 18, I was using Windows Movie Maker on an old, crapped out Windows 10 that I've had sitting around for forever, probably about 10 years or so, and it would crash just opening the file explorer. But now I got my very first own laptop. It's an MSI. It has RTX and all that, and I can run things very smoothly. And I think ever since the Sega NASCAR arcade video, if you haven't been paying attention, the style and presentation of every video I've done since then has changed drastically from the beginning of 2023 and before that. Because I got this new program, I got a better computer that can run much better. Like, for example, okay, so here's something from in here that I couldn't do in Windows Movie Maker. Okay, you see where this logo comes up with a transparent background? Can't do that in Windows Movie Maker. The blurring out of the one car in this frame right here before the picture comes in with Gen Racing, that couldn't be done. Simple stuff like if you watch Legacy of the One, whenever Dale Earnhardt is introduced and there's like audio, the audio from the interview where he's in the boat being interviewed by that one guy, and he's talking about his love for racing and all that, and the pictures are overlapping the video, and it's just the audio, and then it cuts, like in the last few seconds, it cuts to the actual video where that interview is from. I couldn't do that in Windows Movie Maker. It's small things like that I wanted to do, but I could never do because of the programs I was using, and now I had that to my disposal, like this. I mean, see where Mark Martin comes in, and then Eric Almirola, where it's overlapping each other right there. It's little tiny stuff like that I wasn't able to do before that make these videos take a little bit longer, because there's a whole lot more stuff that goes into these than just how I did on Windows Movie Maker, where you just put the video in and you pick a fade in option and so on and so forth, and you just add audio. And on here you have to manually, like with audio, for example, you have to manually turn it down. Like here, let's see. Here's my dialogue. You can see right here where, okay, this is where I stop talking and the intro comes in. You can see right there where the volume goes up. I had to do that manually and all that. It doesn't do it by itself, which that's fine. Because what's great about that, you can choose exactly what volume you want. Like if you wanted to, blow someone's eardrums out, you could totally do that. I mean, but little stuff like that is what makes these videos take a whole lot longer than they used to. And I love the editing process. I'm not going to lie there. I will say this, it's a lot more, takes a lot more to get motivated to make these videos now. And which that's kind of a bad thing, I admit, but there's so much more process that goes into it, and you're doing a whole lot more, which again, that's totally fine. But anyways, Legacy of the One Part 2, it has officially started production. The intro is pretty much done. There's a few mistakes here that I have to change. There's some stuff in the script that'll also have to be changed as well. It's more than just putting a video together. There's a ton of writing that goes into it. More than the writing, there's actually a ton of research that goes into it. You can ask many NASCAR YouTubers about that. But yeah, I'm trying to find my words here. But like I said, it just takes a little bit longer. But once you get the ball rolling, it's like, okay, it's like every night, do this, do that, do this, do that. But right now, I gotta admit, there's a lot of stuff going on outside of the videos. I don't make videos for a living. Y'all know that. And anybody who knows me personally knows that I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. Nothing bad. Actually, quite good stuff, actually. I mean, those of you who haven't been watching my community post, and those of you that have will know that I recently proposed to my girlfriend. And those who know me personally know that I'm changing some stuff around in my life, like jobs and whatnot. And I'll probably, well, I know by the end of this year I will be moving out. That'll be a big. Why do I have an alarm set? Okay. But I'll be moving out here soon, and just little stuff like that. But as for the actual video itself here, so intro, I'm gonna present it to you here in just a second. I'm gonna play the first few minutes or so. So there are some mistakes in here that will need, like right here. So Gin Racing, it was a big team, not really big team. It was a mid-pack team, but everybody knew about it back in like '07, the '01 Army car and all that. In 2007, they merged with DEI. And hold on just a second. Speaking of my fiance, she's texting me right now. Priorities. Okay, so it is pronounced Gin Racing for some reason. I knew that when I was reading off the script. I came through here and I called it Gin. I don't know why I did that twice, and I didn't make that mistake again afterwards with the other sound recordings. But that'll either have to be changed, or I can probably just put a subtitle on there that says pronounce with a G, not a J, or something like that. So there are mistakes. I mean, I come into every one of my videos expecting, like, my first thought to myself is like, all right, where am I going to goof up at? I know that's not a great mentality to have, but almost every one of my, mistakes happen. I mean, I'm just a dude who likes NASCAR. I'm not like an encyclopedia of this stuff. I just like the sport, and I happen to know a lot about it. But I don't know everything. I still have to research. Sometimes research gets mixed up. Like going on Racing Reference, all it takes is one misclick, and you won't even know it. And you could like be talking about, like, let's say, for example, okay, Blanky Blank got 7 DNFs this year. Well, it turns out that year was actually like 2, and you clicked on the other year instead of the year you were talking about. It's just going through it multiple times, and but anyways, I'm getting off track. So I'll skip the channel intro here, and we will get straight into the actual video itself. I believe I have 3 minutes worth of audio and about 2 minutes worth of video edited, and there's more to come, and the ball is rolling, so I am going to be working on it more often than I have been, because I've been working on some other stuff outside of my videos. Just a second. So yeah, let's okay. Let's just get right into this. We'll skip the intro. I don't know how loud this is going to be, so maybe watch your volume here.
With the name of the company gone to drive for Hendrick, it was up to the remainder of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated to pick up the pieces and keep the legacy going for 2008. And honestly, with the merger of a new team, everything seemed hopeful at first. In the midst of the 2007 season, DEI merged with newly rebranded Gin Racing, formerly known as MB2 Motorsports. With it, they brought veteran Mark Martin and young upstart Eric Almirola. The entire kerchuckle that was this merger could be made into its own video, but Brock Beard and Slapshoes already did that. If you want all the nitty-gritty details, go watch their video after this one. Needless to say, by the time they were bought out by DEI, their ship was already halfway sunk with no way of saving it. With the purchase, they acquired the '01 Army car, but Gin's 13 and 14 cars are unaccounted for. Mark Martin and Eric Almirola will swap in and out of the '01 car throughout the season, since Mark just wants to run a part-time schedule. By 2008, with Dale Jr. gone, it would be up to Martin Truex to be the flag bearer for DEI. But like I said in part 1, this is where the team dies.
So, few things. Like I said, it's not perfect yet, but right here, I'm expecting something to go here, but this is just a placeholder. So that's the intro so far, and this one, that's phase one where it's talking all the way up. I think it's covering, it's semi covering the Gin Racing merger because, like I said, Brock Beard and Slap Shoes, I mean, they can't be beat whenever it comes to NASCAR content hardly. And they did like an entire, like almost an hour video just on that merger. I mean, it blows anything that I could make out of the water. So I'm not even gonna try to touch that. But I mean, I'm gonna get into it. Somebody mentioned it in part one where I didn't mention it, but in part two, that's all mentioned. I'm saying the word mention a lot. But anyways, so audio for phase one here. I am going to play it for you. Keep in mind there is no video here yet. And also the audio here, the music is just a placeholder. I didn't even bother to cut it off until the very end here at the 3-minute mark. In fact, I'll go ahead and probably mute it. Or actually, I'll just keep it on there to see if I like it. You know, I mean, that's what we're all here for. Is just so. Here's where it's talking about Gin Racing merger all the way up to the Earnhardt and Ganassi. This guy, this one right here, which, like I said, this is where the whole team kind of went. Hey, thanks, Skijus? I guess that's how you say your name. I got a comment. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the comment. But anyways, so I'm going to play this little snippet of audio right here.
There was a ton of optimism for DEI coming into 2008. The team was the biggest it's ever been, with 4 cars in their roster. Martin Truex Jr. would continue driving the 1. Paul Menard would field the 15 car and brought big sponsorship dollars with his father's company. The Army sponsorship would be brought over the Junior's old 8 car, which would be driven by Mark Martin and Eric Almirola, who were both on a part-time schedule. And lastly, the new guy, Regan Smith, would be behind the wheel of the 01 car. Unfortunately though, the optimism was short-lived, and this is where the whole operation starts to truly fall apart. The causes are all over the place, so there's really not one clear reason. It was a lot of things. First of all, Junior leaving for Hendrick was by far the biggest gut punch. Teresa's greed, the fact that literally nobody was signed for DEI in 2009 except Truex and Regan Smith, and finally the 2 killing blows, one which likely leads to another. The 2008 financial meltdown, and the merger with Chip Ganassi Racing.
So yeah, I mean, that pretty much is like an abridged version of kind of everything that goes on. I think I'm probably going to leave this music here. I don't see no point in cutting it short. I mean, we already have a shortcut down here of music. I mean, we need to probably keep this one going. I'd say, let's see something right here. Maybe do a long fade out right before it gets to the very end here. Let's see.
Finally, the 2 killing blows, one which likely leads to another. The 2008 financial meltdown, and the merger with Chip Ganassi Racing.
I gotta stop pressing the play button right at the very end. Let's see. It's a little too short. And maybe bring it down here a little bit. That way you can really...
Which likely leads to another. The 2008 financial meltdown, and the merger with Chip Ganassi Racing.
I like that a lot more. So, we'll leave this Need for Speed music here, and we'll just kind of let it fade out to the very end. Now, all of this, I'll probably do off screen. That won't take me long at all. That's not even it's a little bit more than a minute actually of audio. I thought it was less than that, but I'll probably let's see what we have here. You know,
There was a ton of optimism for DEI coming into 2008. The team
we'll probably get some video stuff for that here later, but right now, so yeah, that's pretty much. I know it's not a ton of progress that I've made, but like I said, there's been some stuff outside of videos going on, not much, but I'm working on. If you've been keeping up with my community posts, I have probably 2 or 3 other videos I'm working on. I'm actually, I'm not sure how far we're going into this, but I am planning on doing a collab actually here pretty soon. So, I mean, everybody loves a rivalry, right? So, me and another individual on YouTube who's a close friend of mine, we are planning on doing a collab video over the rivalry between Kurt Busch and Jimmy Spencer that happened between 2001, 2003, and well, pretty much onward if you count Jimmy Spencer being on the Speed Channel. And so, a friend of mine, Clumsy Cardboard, go check out his channel by the way. He's amazing, and he's like the encyclopedia of everything about Jimmy Spencer. I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's actually like a president of a Jimmy Spencer fan club. So don't quote me on that. But so he's been helping me out with the research of it. We've been getting together on Discord and talking about NASCAR and just cars in general, but mainly like Jimmy Spencer and Kurt Busch and whatnot. And the intro for that one he's writing his part, and then after he gets done with that, or I may just go ahead and start on it, but I'll start writing the rest of it. That's one of the big projects that's probably going to come after this one. Depending on when this one gets done, it'll either be after it or before Legacy of the One Part 2 comes out. And so we have that, and we have another project I'm doing, but these two are the biggest ones right now. This one and the rivalry. And EMP Lemon, or Emp Lemon, however you want to say his name. He's already covered that in his NASCAR Revenge video, but there's not like a whole video essay just covering that rivalry in general. I mean, it's weird because it was such a big deal during the most popular era of NASCAR, during the early to mid 2000s, whenever, the Nextel Cup came in, and the TV ratings were at its absolute best, and there's hardly anything covering that unless you're going to look at like the videos of where it's showing each individual thing that happened in there, but there's not like a whole video essay just talking about that, and that's what we're looking to accomplish with that video. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you're not seeing. I know my content is not coming out the fastest as everybody else, and I know and also there's the whole NASCAR copyright thing that happened recently. Thankfully, that's being solved, but that's never really bothered me. Like I say, I use a lot of copyright music anyways, so it's not gonna matter. So the first part of Legacy of the One, I had music in there for whenever for Dale Earnhardt's death, and that music got copyrighted, and I didn't know it was copyright music until I posted it. I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm not getting paid for that one. But not like I'm worried about it. I mean, I just make content for fun. I I've had people offer to make music for my videos, and I'm like, nah, I like using um, music that I grew up with that were in like a lot of racing video games, or you know, I use a lot of Sonic music as well, and so just different stuff like that. But what I am way off subject here, but yeah, so Legacy of the One, it is being made, it's being worked on. Not every day, like I want to, not like I did with the other parts, but it is in the process of being shipped out. And hopefully it will be out soon between the time that I'm working or planning my wedding coming up, or like I just recently got into iRacing actually, and that's I, I won't be posting any videos on that. I'm not a gameplay channel at all, but but yeah. So that's Legacy of the One. So far, we got about 3 minutes done on this, not including video. Video wise, we got about 2 minutes done here. And so yeah, that is the project so far. This is the big project. Okay. Yeah, but the script itself is like gigantuan. This was a huge project. Now I say it was a huge project. I'll probably go through and read this, and it'll probably only be like, who knows, like 25 minutes long. That's usually how it goes. When you're writing, it can take you days to write it, and then what feels like minutes to read over it. So when you're doing that, it feels like it's going to be like an hour long. Like I've had videos where I'm like, oh, it's going to be like 35 minutes or so, and it ends up being like 15. But yeah, so yeah, I think I'm gonna end the live stream here. I've pretty much showed everything I want to. I don't think y'all would want to go through and watch me just look up photos and videos and recording stuff and then doing all that. Maybe some other time. Maybe the next time I do a live stream, because this is a big project, and I'll probably do another live stream going over the process of it. I'll get the videos I want and the videos I want and all that, and put them all in one file, and maybe we can go through and I can show you all the editing process of this. But for right now, I just wanted to show y'all how far we've gotten. It is admittedly not far, but I mean, hey, now that we got the ball rolling, we could just keep going and going and going. But yeah, that's Legacy of the One. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all have a great night. And I will see you when this video comes out, I guess. See you then.